Hello everyone. So in the last session, we had discussed about conditionals, which is if else statement, and secondly loops. And also we had discussed some of the questions of for loops and while loops. So in this session, we will continue with some more questions on loops, and then we will continue the functions. Okay. So yesterday we had discussed three questions. First question is, yeah. So first question was, that is how we can calculate the sum of numbers from 1 to 10 using for loop. Then how we can calculate the product of these numbers, okay, from a particular list. And third, we had discussed like how we can print the multiplication table, okay, using for loop and then while loop. Okay, so now we will see how we can calculate the multiplication table using while loop. Okay, so again, and here we have to take the table number as a input from the user and range from the user. So we can first start by initializing value I equal 1 here. Then what we can do, we can simply mention table underscore num. And this one we have to ask from the user int input, and here we can mention enter the number. And then we can start the loop while I, which is your number, is less than. Now here we have to mention 11, right? Because we are iterating up to 1 to 10. But here I want that this number means the range of your table will be taken from the user. So what we can do, we can take another variable here. Let's say num1. Okay. And here we can ask another number from the user. Let's say input. Now here we can mention enter the range of your table. Okay. And then in place of 11, what we can do, we can use this particular variable, which is num1. Okay, so here we have I equal 1, and here we are taking, this is my initial variable. And then here I am taking table number from the user as well as range from the user. Okay, and then we can simply use this particular statement where we want print num1, which is here we can mention table underscore num as it is this multiplication sign I, which is your iterable variable, and then equal sign, and then multiplication of your I, okay, yeah, your I into table underscore num. Okay, now we can run this code. Yeah, exactly. So we can take initial number and we can use this one as a source code. Yeah. And also you have to increment the value from here, which means we have to increment I plus equal 1. Yeah. Otherwise, we will hit the infinity loop. Okay, so let's try this one. So first we can enter the number, which is your table number. Let's say I want a table of 5. Then we can mention the range, let's say up to 10 here. Okay, so this will give me table up to 9 here. So what we can do, we can simply use plus 1 here. Okay, plus 1 like this. So again, we can run. So let's say 5 and then 10 here. And this will give me the table of 5 10 times. Okay, like sorry, up to 10 here. Same as we can try with 33, and we can mention any range here. So this is providing me table of 33 up to 45. Okay, 33 into 45, this one. Even you can take initial range from the user as well. For example, this initial range. So what we can do, we can take this from user. We can copy, and here we can take the initial range of a table from the user. Enter the initial, let's say, number. Okay, and then here we can run again. Okay, now initial number. Let's say I want to start the table from 5. And let's say I want table of 2 here up to 15. Okay, now you can see now here we are getting the table of 2. Okay, and which is starting from 5, which is 2 into 5, 10. And then here we have this range 2 into 15 into 30 equals 30. So we can mention here, we can we can use user as an input. We can take initial number, we can take table number, and we can take the ending range from the user, and then we can apply this simply in the while loop. Okay, so this is how we can print. We can use while loop, and we can use for printing the table. Now next question, print even numbers from 1 to 10 using a for loop. Okay, try this one. Print even numbers from 1 to 10 using a for loop. You can try any of this operator. You can use plus one as well, or you can use less than equal to sign. It's your choice. Okay, they both are same. Yeah. So here we have print even numbers from 1 to 10 using a for loop. So how do we print only even numbers? For example, if we have numbers from 1 to 10, then we want number 2, 4, 6, 8. That's it. Okay, also 10. So here, let me mention including 10 here. So basically, we can use if else statement here, like if statement inside while loop, sorry, inside for loop, or we can use step argument here. So for what we can do, we can write for I in range. Now we want range from 2 here, okay, comma 11, comma 2 here. Print I. Now 2 means, so this range will start from 2. Okay, so first number will be 2. Then up to 11. But here we have step argument, which means it will skip one value. So after 2 we have 4. After 4 we have 6, 8, and then 10 here, like this. So here we are using step argument. So let me run this one. You can see that these even numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 here. Okay. So either we can use the step argument, or we can also use for loop. Sorry, if statement. So here you can also mention for I in range. Let's say we want range from 1 to 11, which is 1 to 10. And we can check if I, okay, means whatever the number we have, modulus 2 equal 0. Then simply print I. Okay, so this is one way and this is second way. So if I run this code, okay, you will see. So this is the output of first code, and this is the output of second code. So they are same. So we can also use this step argument, and we can also use this if statement. Okay. Now, next question, print numbers in reverse from 10 to 1 using a for loop. So how do we print numbers in reverse order from 10 to 1 using a for loop? Any answers? Okay, means we want the loop start from 10, 9, 8, and so on up to 1. So here we can simply use for I in range. Okay, and here we can start from 10 to 0 and then minus 1. And if we print I here, and here you have the loop in reverse order 10, 9, 8, and so on up to 1. Because here the starting range is 10, okay, and then ending range is 0, which means 0 means one step backward, which is 1. Okay, 10 to 1 here. And then minus 1 means this will like run your loop in reverse order. Okay, so starting range is 10 and ending range is 0, which is one step backward, which is 1, and then minus 1. Your step argument is minus 1, which will run your loop in reverse order. Okay, now next question, print characters of a string using for loop. For example, let's say we have the string equal apple. So how do we print the characters, which is each and every character of this string with the help of for loop? So we can simply iterate over this particular string. Okay. So here we have this string a equal apple. So we can use for I in a. And then we can simply print I. So this will keep on iterate over each and every character of this string. Okay, we have this. Okay, so here we have this apple as a string. Then next question, which is find the largest number in a list using for loop. So how do we find the largest number in a list using for loop? For example, let's say if we have this list underscore 1, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the largest number in this list is 5 here. So how do we find out? Using a for loop. So basically we can write our algorithm here. So first we can have a list, okay, and then we can create a initial value again, which is largest equal my list of 0, which means here we have this list. Then again we can take a initial value here. Let's say largest equal, okay, and then we can mention list underscore 1 and 0. So in this first stage, we are considering that 1, which is in the 0 index, is like a largest variable, sorry, largest element in the list. Okay, so here in the initial stage, we are considering the first element is the largest element. Okay, so that is what we are considering here, which is the first element is the largest element. Okay, so the initial value of yes, so the initial value of this particular large variable is 1. Okay, because 1 is in the 0th index of this particular list. Okay, now then we can start iteration over this list, which is for I in name of your list underscore 1. Now we can check if num, which is your I, okay, or any number or any element from your list is larger than your variable largest. Okay, then we can change the value of the largest. And then we can simply print the value of largest, which means initially your value of your largest is 1 only, okay, or any other number, whichever is first in the list. Then here we are iterating over the list. So while iterating, we have number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this particular I. And after each and every iteration, here we are checking if I, which is your value of iteration, let's say 1, is greater than your largest value, which is 1 year. Currently, your value is 1 year. So 1 is greater than 1? No. So this line will skip. Okay, and then again the iteration will start. Second iteration, we have 2 here. So 2 is greater than 1, yes. So now here the value of your largest variable, which is this one, is updated. So here we are updating the value of this largest variable. So previously it was 1, now it becomes 2 here because this condition is true. Okay, so the value of your largest variable will keep on updating. And then 3, and this will check for 3, and this will check for 4, and so on, and last 5. The 5 is greater than 1, yes. So now this will update the value of I. Basically, I will store the element of your list, whatever the element we have, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will store the element, not any index. But this will store, and this one is also going to store your element of zeroth index, which is 1 year. So inside largest variable, we have 1 year in the initial stage. And then this for loop will keep on iterating on your list, which is keep on. So I will keep on storing your elements of your list, which is 1, 2, 3, and so on. And then here, after each and every iteration, we are checking if your current value of I is larger than your previous value of largest, your this variable. If it is, then we can keep on updating this value. Okay, and then at last we can print the value of your largest. Okay, so let me show you. So you can see the largest number is 5. Okay, if I mention here more numbers, let's say 5, let's say 10 here, and let's say 55 here in the starting. Okay, now 55 is the largest value among all these values. Okay, so 55 will be printed. The largest number is 55. So in this condition will never gets true. Okay, and if this condition is not true, then this line of code will not executed, which means your largest variable will never get updated here because the largest value is in the starting only 55. Okay, so this is how we can find the largest number in a particular list. Okay, now next question, find the average of numbers in a list using for loop. Okay, now we are going to find the average of numbers in a list using for loop. So let me write the formula of average, which is total of all numbers in your list divided by your count of a number. Okay. So this is again very easy. So what we can do, we have a list. Let's say, for example, we have again list underscore 1. Inside list underscore 1, let's say we have value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So first we will going to iterate over this list, and we will find the sum of all these elements in a list, which means 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. And then we will divide this total sum to count of your, or we can say length of your list, or count of your, like how many values are there inside your list, which is 5. So divided by 5. Okay. So this is the formula we are going to apply. So again, it is very easy. So first we have this list here, a simple list underscore 1. Okay. Then we have a total variable equals 0. Okay. For I in list underscore 1, which is your list. And then here we are keep on updating the total variable plus equal 1. Okay. So inside total, we have a total value of 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. After this one, we can use average equal. So total value divided by length of your list underscore 1. And then we can print your average. Okay. So here we have this list and here we have this initial value, which is why do we write total equal 1 plus 1? Like what is the meaning of writing total equal 1 plus 1? Oh yeah, sure. One second.
Okay. Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Please, sorry to draw the class backwards, but the question I want to ask is, right, the last question that you treated, which is the find the largest number in a list using for loop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the second line of code where you said LAR equals to list on that, yes. So this is where I normally get confused in Python. How do you know, you have to state this here and then, putting in, those other conditions. So how did you, is it from experience that you have to put in this? Or is there like, um, I don't know how to put it, like how are you able to know that, okay, you have to put in a variable LAR equals to this? Is there like a rule that defines what you need to do at the next step, or it's just from experience that you have to do this?
Okay. So let me uncomment first this answer. So here, see, whenever you are answering or writing any program or any you are creating any application, make sure to break your application or your program into smaller chunks or smaller parts, and then try to create an algorithm out of your program. And if you have the algorithm, then you can easily create any program, any difficult program. For example, let's say here this program says find the largest number in a list using a for loop. So let's say we have a given list equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now how do we write a algorithm first? Algorithms are like a set of rules, or we can say set of instructions you have to write while answering any question. Okay, so how do we write an algorithm for this particular list? So it is saying find the largest number in a list. Now we don't know which one is largest, right? We don't know which one is or where the largest number resides. It can be in the starting also, it can be in the end also, or it can be in the middle also. So we don't know yet. So that is why what we can do, we can start by taking this assumption that the first number will be the largest number. That is why I have used this particular line here. If I simply let me show you. If I simply print this line, okay, so this is my list, and this is print list underscore 1 and then 0. Now here I am using indexing, and at 0th index I have 1 here. Okay, simple 1 here. So basically here I am taking an assumption that I don't know whatever the number, like where my largest number will reside in the list. So this is my assumption that I will start from the initial number and I will take initial number as my largest number. Okay. And this is like you can use your logic here. Or what you can do, you can create an algorithm. So first, uh, you can write an algorithm like first you can start. We have a given list. Okay. We have a given list. So first I will take the assumption that my first number or my first element of the from the list would be my largest number. Okay. And that largest number and that largest number, okay, whatever it is, I will store it inside a variable. Okay. So this line, this is my second step. Okay, first I have this given list here, and secondly, I have defined a largest variable like as a variable here, and then I have taken 0, like I am using an index here to capture or to store the value of zeroth index. Okay, like which is 55 or 1 or 2 and any value. Then I will iterate over a for loop. So I will iterate over a list using for loop one by one. So here in this for loop, we have this one value which is for I in list 1. So this I will contain each and every value of your list. Okay, 55, 1, 2, or whatever. Then we will compare each and every element of the list from the initial value of uh, initial value of largest, which is this variable, large variable. Now, here we have two conditions, yes or no. Okay, if the value is greater than your initial value, for example, if your initial value is 1 year and your I iteration value of 2 year, so which means 2 is greater than 1 year. So which means I is greater than your largest variable. So if this condition is true, then we will update the current value of of largest variable. And if no, if the value is, if let's say, if this value contains 55 and all other values are smaller than the elements of the list, then we will just skip this line. Okay. If condition says, if this condition is true, then only I will execute this line of code. If this condition is false, then I will skip this line of code, which means your largest variable, which is this variable, will never going to update. Okay, and then at last, after the iteration gets over, we will print the uh, this line of code. Okay, so how you can start? You can just use your logic here. Okay, and you can just try to create a algorithm here. Okay, after creating your algorithm, the things will become clear, and then you can write your code as per your algorithm. Okay. And if you find any error, then you can just change your algorithm and then change your code here. So while writing the algorithm each after your program, you will find the programs are much easier. Why we will break your programs into smaller parts. Yes.
Ma'am, I have a question. Like you
Yes.
are writing entire algo here in the text form. Would that be easier for you if you please start the loop using an iteration on the whiteboard, or if something is available, like you can point how exactly the value is coming and going and out, and how exactly things are
Yes.
calculating if condition.
Okay. Just give me a second. Okay, so we have this website here which is known as Python Tutor. Okay, pythontutor.com. And here they have a Python online compiler. Okay, which will visually show you how you are executing, how your code is flowing from top to bottom. Okay, you can click on edit code here, and in this you can just paste your code. Okay, for example, we have this code here, which is list here, and then we have this variable. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah. Let's say we have this list here, simple list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10 here. Okay, now how like we can now visualize this particular these line of code here. For example, you can click on this visualize execution. Okay, so first here we have this list here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. And then here we have this variable. In second line, we have this variable largest equal list underscore 1 and 0 index. So you can click on nest here. So the first step is this one. So now global frame, okay, which is global, your frame is list equal 1. So this one is your list here. Inside list, you have these elements. Okay, you can just give me a second. Okay, so here we have this one. These number elements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. And index value are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the index value. So it is saying that inside list underscore 1, we have these elements with these index number. Then you can click on next here. Now it moved to second line, which is largest equal list underscore 1 and 0. So it is saying that inside largest, which is your this variable, we have this value 1 here. Okay, and this value is coming from the 0 index. Okay, so inside this largest here, we have 1 here. So in this second line, we have this value 1. Then you can click on nest again. Now it has started the iteration. So for I in list underscore 1. So inside I, okay, inside this particular I, we have first value of list, which is 1 here. Okay, what is the first element of your list? 1 here. So currently, after when the iteration start, first I will contain 1. Then it will check for this condition, which is fourth, if I is larger than LAR, which is your variable. So I will click on last here. Okay, which means now this condition is false. If I is greater than large variable, which is 1 is greater than 1, that is condition is false. So this line of code, which is fifth line of code, will what we can say this will not going to execute. Then we will click on next here. Now second iteration is 2 here. In the second iteration, your value of I becomes 2 here. And then, sorry. Okay, second value of iteration is 2 here and then next. Then here we are comparing. If I is greater than large. Now 2 is greater than 1, that is true here. So now this line of code, which is fifth line of code, will be executed. And when I click on next, you will notice this larger value is now got updated here. From 1, it becomes 2 here. And then again the iteration starts. Okay, which is now third value is 3 here. So you will notice I will become 3. Okay, next here. Now you can see I becomes 3 here. So currently in I we have third value. And then again we will check for this condition. If I is larger than your variable, which is 2 here. Now you can notice 3 is larger than 2. So this will again update your variable larger. And now your larger will become 3 here. If I click on next, you will notice 3 here. Larger is become 3 here. And then we have I equal 4, which is your fourth element here. Okay. So now I contains element number 4. So value of 4 is, okay, like on the third index, we have value 4 here. Then again, it will check for this condition if I, which is your 4, is larger than your 3, which it is, then your larger value will got updated. And when I click on next, you will notice larger becomes 4 and next iteration is 5 here, which is I equal 5, which is your next element in the list. Then again, this will update. Now your larger become 10 and then your last value, which is 10 here. Now larger will become 10 here because 10 is greater than 5. And if I click on next here, you will notice 10 is now your current value. And now the iteration, your list, the elements of the list are over. So this will end your for loop, and then last, which is your sixth line, will print it, which is next here. You can see sixth line and next. So here you can see the largest number is 10 here, which it is. Okay, and if you start here, let's say if I have this number, let's say in the starting I have 55, and then rest these numbers, which is 55, as we can see, is the largest among these number. And if you start visualizing again, then you will notice next here, which is your global frame, which is your list underscore where these elements next inside the first, like initially we have largest value is 55. It is not because it is largest, it is because we are taking the value from zeroth index. Now it can be any value, it can be 0, it can be 1, it can be any value. Okay, so it doesn't mean that we are taking the largest value here. We are just assuming that whatever the value in the first, we are that is largest. And then we will keep on comparing the values. And then again, we will start the for loop, which now first value is 55. So 55, this will skip. Second value is 1 here. Now 1, okay, I equal 1. Now 1 is not greater than 55. So this will not execute your fifth line here, which is this one. Okay, because in the fourth line, this condition is now false. Okay, because I is 1 here and largest is 55. So this will not execute your code. Okay, now this condition is false. So this line of code will not execute it. And hence, your largest will not update it. Okay, if you click on next here, you can see largest is still 55. Same as we can try I equal to. So it will again check your condition. If condition is false, then this line of code will not execute it and your largest will not update it. And the next up to 10 here. And at last you can see the largest is not updated. So which means the largest number is 55. Okay. So you can use this Python tutor. Let me share the URL. Yeah, we can break a loop that we will see. So you can use this Python tutor for visualization purpose. Okay. Now, any other questions regarding this program? If whenever you all gets any confusion while writing any program, just go to the Python tutor and you can visualize your, if you want to debug anything, you can also use Python tutor. And before writing any program or any application, try to write the algorithm, or we can say like the pseudocode of your um, program. Okay. Yeah. Now, variance average. Okay, so here we have this list here, and then here we have this initial value total here because we want the total of these number. So here we are taking initial value as 0 here. Then we are iterating over this list. So for I in list, so first in the I we have this value equal 1. And then here we are updating the value of total. Okay, so first value of total equal total plus 1. Okay, so this is like this line is a shortcut of writing this particular line, which means your total, here we are updating your total variable with total. Now what is the initial value of total? 0. So 0 plus 1, which means your 1 here. Sorry, here I have to mention I here, I guess. Yeah. Here I have to mention I, not 1. Okay. Then after that, your loop will again execute. Now total, now I contains value number second. Okay. Now currently your total value is 1. So 1 plus 2 here, which is 3 here. Okay, and this will like keep on executing and keep on adding a value inside total. And at last, we are finding the average of your total of your list, which is our total divided by the length of your or number of counts of your value, which is 5. Okay, which means whatever total we have, total and divided by your 5, which is a total number of elements. Okay, and then we can run this one. So answer is 3.0. So the average of this particular list is 3.0. Okay. So now the next question. Print all uppercase letters in a string using a for. So how do we print the uppercase letters? For example, in a string. For example, if we have the string, the Python, let's say. So we want the output as T, H, and P here. Okay, because these are all only uppercase and rest are lowercase. So we want output only the uppercase characters. So we can start by writing a pseudocode or algorithm, okay, for your program. So anyone wants to explain the algorithm of this program? How do we approach this particular problem? Let's say if we have this string, let's say any string, let's say hello world Python, like this one. And how do we approach this particular problem? Basically, we want output as H, W, and a P. Okay, because these are only uppercase. Even let me make this N uppercase. Okay, now N. So what we can do, we can simply loop through this string. Okay, and then we will check each and every character if this character is uppercase or not, and then if it is uppercase, then we can print it. Otherwise, not. Okay, so as simple as that. So we can start for I in your A, whatever the characters we have. Then we will check if I dot we have this function which is upper. Print I. Simple. Okay. So for example, let me show you the output first. So here you can see we have this hello world Python, and here we have this error. Sorry, here we have to use parentheses. Okay. Now here you can see we have this H, which is uppercase, W uppercase, P uppercase, and N uppercase as per our result. Okay. So here we are first iterating over this particular string. Okay, and whenever we are iterating over a string, which means we are iterating we are checking for each and every character. So this I contains each and every character after each and every iteration, which is H, then E, then L, and so on. And then here we are checking if is dot upper. Okay, which is I. Let's say the first value of I is H. Okay, which is your first element or first character of your string. Now here we are checking if H dot is upper. If this character is uppercase or not. If it is, then print it. If it is not, then skip it. Okay, so is upper will always throw like give you the output in true or false. We are checking is upper, is lower, and so on. Okay, simple. Now, next question, which is count the number of vowels in a string using a for loop. So how do we count our vowels, like number of vowels in a string? For example, let's say we have a string a equal, again, let's say hello world. Okay, and let's say we have a vowels. Okay, basically we have a, e, I, o, u. Okay, right? These are vowels. So basically you have to count how many vowels are there in this particular string. Let's say I want the output as how many vowels are there here? One, two, three, three vowels, right? So here we have three vowels. So I want the output as three here. So anyone, like how do we approach this problem? Like any answers or any suggestions? No, no specific function for vowels. We have to manually define that. Okay, like we have to manually tell Python that these are vowels. Okay. Equal. We can use it, but we have an like another like better solution. Why do we use OR operator? Here we are checking for one condition, whether it is a vowel or not. Okay. So we have only one condition here. So we don't need to use OR here. We use OR if we want to check two conditions at the same time. Try harder. Or you can just write your algorithm and you can share it with me. Like how we can like approach this problem. Okay. Okay, so what we can do, we can start. Uh, so first here we have this particular string. Okay, let's say this one. A hello world. Okay, now we don't have any specific building functions in Python for vowels for checking if a character is vowel or not. So what we can do, we can create a variable vowels. Okay, now inside a string, a vowel can be anything, a uppercase vowel or lowercase vowel, it doesn't matter. So here we have to check. Here we can write A, E, I, O, U and uppercase A, E, sorry, lowercase A, E, I, O, U. Okay, because vowel can be any case, uppercase or lowercase. So we have to mention both cases here, A, E, I, O, U, your uppercase and your lowercase A, E, I, O, U. Right. Then we can take, again, we are taking an initial value count here, which is 0 here. Okay, because we are keep on counting. So we will keep on updating this value count. Then for I in your A, okay, which is your, here we have started the iteration. And then we can check if I in vowels. And then we can update the value of count. And then we can print it. Okay, which means here we are iterating over I, which is, sorry, A. So first we have this I equal H, and then we have this E, and then L, O, and so on. And after each and every iteration, we are checking if I, currently we have this H here. Now, H inside this particular string or not. That is why here we are using a membership operator in. So here we are checking if H inside this particular string. Okay, so it is uppercase H, and we don't have any uppercase H here. So this line of code will not execute. Then again, it will iterate, it will check for E next time. Okay, your E. Now it will check if I, which is your E, inside your vowels. Basically, yes, E is there. So this will update your value of count, which is now your count becomes 1 here. Initially it was 0, now it becomes 1 here. Then again it will check for L, and so on. Okay, if I run this code, you can see 3 here. Because we have 3 vowels inside this string. Okay, if I mention, let's say, um, apple, okay, like this one. Now we have two more vowels. Okay, A this one and E this one. So if I run this one, you will see five vowels. Okay, five vowels. So let me show this code in on the Python tutor. Okay. So first here we have the string hello world apple. Okay, and then we have this vowels here. Okay. So here it is saying that A contains this particular string. Then second vowels, we have second variable which contains this particular string, which is A, E, I, O, U, caps में, and then small case. And then we have another variable which is count, whose initial value is 0. Okay, these are my variables. Then we start the iteration, which is for I in range. So first, my value of I is H, because here my string starts from H, capital H. Then it will check for I in vowels. Okay, it will check for this condition. If I is present in this particular string, sorry, if H present in this particular string. Okay, next, if not, then this line of code will not execute it. So this will skip this line. And then again, iteration will start, which is E. Now, second value is E here. I is equal E. Now, it will check if E is present in this particular A, E, I, O, U, this vowels string or not. If it is, then now you will notice the value of count will becomes 1 here. Okay, if I click on next, you can see 1 here. Then again, it will check for L, O. Now O contains here, which is it is a vowel. So again, this value will count value will update and so on. Okay, so this is how this code is flowing. Okay. So any questions in this particular question? Any doubts? Okay. So now next question. Calculate the factorial of a number using for loop. If you want to print vowels, then you can simply use print here. Okay, here you can, after your count here, you can use print your vowels. Okay, okay. If you're saying you want to print vowels, then you can simply use here. After this one, after this count, you can just print I here. Okay, like this one. So after your count, after your increment, you can simply print I, which is your whatever your vowels are. Okay, because this line of code will only execute if this condition is true. And if this condition is true, which means your string has vowels, then you can simply use print I and then you can simply print your count. Okay. Now what are factorials? So let's say we have this number equal 10 here. So factorial means we want number like 10 into 9 into 8 and so on. Okay, that is known as factorial up to 1 into 1. So how do we create a factorial of any number using for loop? So again, it is very simple. So what we can do, you can ask a number from a user also, or we can create a number manually. Let's say number is 10 here. Then we will start the factorial with 1. Okay, this is my initial value. Okay, so here you can use for loop. Now this time we will use while loop. Now we will check while num is greater than 0. Okay, num is greater than 0. Then we can use factorial. Okay, and here we are updating your value of a factorial by your number. And then we are keep on decrementing your number. Okay, your number here. And then we can simply print value of your factorial deficit. Okay, so now here first we have this number 10. So which means this number, the factorial of this number is 10 into 8, sorry, 9 into uh, into 8 and then into 7, then 6 and so on up to 1 year. And here we are taking a factorial initially 1 year. Okay, which is initial value of factorial is 1. Then here we are checking the condition if while your number, which is your 10, if it is greater than 0, which it is, here we are checking if number is greater than 0, then you have to execute this line of code. If your number is less than 0, then we don't have any factorial, like a factorial of 0 is 0 only, right? So that is why here we are checking the condition first. If your number is larger than 0, if it is, then print this line of code. And this means here we have this factorial. Now here we are updating the like variable factorial here, which means factorial equal factorial multiply by num, whatever the number is, let's say 10 here. Okay, which means here we are multiplying 10 with 1 year. Okay, and then we are updating your value. And then it will start again, then 1, 2, 3, and so on up to 10 year. And then here we will keep on decrementing your value of your like your number, which is first it was 10, then 9, and then 8, and so on. So we will keep on decrementing the value of your number. So at first, your value of your factorial is 1, and then your number is 10 here. So 1 into 10, 10 here. Then your second iteration will start, but now your value will decrement by 1, which is we are decrementing this num value, which is this one. So after subtracting 1, we have this 9. Okay, but your current value of your factorial is 10. So 10 into 9, then we have this number 90, and then so on. So this will keep on decrementing the value of your number till 1. And if you run this one, you will get the factorial of your 10 here. Okay. Then you can also you can take this number from the user int input, and here we can mention enter the number like this. And here we can run this. Let's say factorial of 5. So this is factorial of 5. Okay. Same as you can do this with the help of for loop. Now, next question, calculate the sum of numbers from 1 to 100 using while loop. So how do we calculate the sum of numbers, which is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 100 up to 100 using while loop? So how do we calculate? So we can start by taking the initial number, your num equal 1, or let me write I equal 1. Okay, which is the initial value. Then again we can take here total equal 0 here. Okay, then we can use while I is less than or equal to 100, and then we can keep on updating your value of your total, which is total plus equal your I. And then we can keep on incrementing your I value, which is I plus equal 1. Simple. And then we can print the total here. Okay, and then here we can run this program. So we are like sum of 1 to 100 is 5050. Okay, now next question. Now let's move to break statement and continue. So next question, print numbers from 1 to 5 except 3 using for loop. Okay. Now we have two types of statement in the loops. We have break statement and then we have continue. Now, what is the difference in the break and continue statement? Anyone? So break continue will break, sorry, break statement will break your code. For example, here we are checking print number from 1 to 5 except 3. So break statement will break your execution of the loop. And continue will skip your value. Okay, it will skip the value. For example, let's say we have this program, print numbers from 1 to 5 and except 3. So we can use for I in range from 1 to 6, okay, which is 1 to 5. And then if we are checking if number, oh sorry, I equal 3, then please continue. And then we can print the value of I here. Okay, so this is an example of continue statement. If I show you, so this will skip your value 3. Okay, basically we have output 1 to 4, 5. Okay, you can see 1 to 4, 5. So continue statement, what we can say, it will like skip your value. Whatever your condition is, as per your condition, it will like skip your value. And break will break your current iteration of your loop. If I use break, then we have answer 1, 2 only. Okay, if you run this one, you will see we have answer 1, 2 only. Because at 3, this statement, here we are checking if I equal 3, then break the loop. Okay, so like break statement will entirely break your execution of your current running loop, and then continue will like skip your value. Okay, now so this is like the main difference in the break statement and continue statement. Another example, let's say print number from 1 to 10. No, yeah, syntax is standard. Okay, it depends on where you want to use a break or continue statement. Okay, you always use these statement after any given condition. Now print number from 1 to 10. If a number, let's say, is divisible by 4, then what we can say, we can stop the loop. Okay, let's say for loop. So let's say if now how do we create? We are iterating over 1 to 10. So for I in range from 1 to 11. Okay. Now here we can check for condition. If I modulus, now here we are checking for 4 here. 4 equal 0. Then simply break your loop. And also we can print the value of I here. Okay. So first the iteration will start from 1. Okay. And the 1 will be printed. And then this condition will check. If 1 modulus 4 equal 0, if this condition is true, then your loop will break. Okay. So now let's run this line. So this answer 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Because 4 modulus 4 is equal to 0. So after 4, the loop breaks. Okay, simple. We are running, we are iterating over our numbers like 1 to 10, and then we're printing the numbers. After printing each and every number, then again we are checking the condition. If whatever the value of I is, if that is modulus 4 equal 0, if that is divisible by 4, then break a loop. So here we have 1, which is 1 is not divisible, same as 2, same as 3, and now 4. 4 is divisible by 4, which means when 4 comes inside I, it checks for condition. If 4 modulus 4 equal 0, which it is, then this will break your loop. Okay, so this is how we can um, like check for this condition, and even we can break the loop in the middle. Now, next question, which is print numbers from 1 to 10 again. And if a number, let's say, is even, what we can do, we can skip it. Okay, using so if the number is even, then we can skip it using for loop, or let me mention else clause. Okay, so here we are going to um, if you want to break on 8, then here you have to use a different condition. Okay, not this one condition. Because first, before 8, we have 4. If 4 is divisible by 4, then your statement, your line of code will break. Okay, your execution, your for loop will break. Okay, means your for loop will stop executing. So for this particular condition, you can use you have to use different if statement here. Okay, or you can use and or operator, and then you can use continuous statement. Continuous statement is mainly for skipping your value. Okay, so print numbers from 1 to 10. If number is even, then skip it and use for loop and else clause here. So what we can do, we can again start from I in range 1 to 10, which is 1 to 11. Right. Now we will check if I modulus 2 equal 0. Right. Then what we can do, we can simply continue here. And then we can print the value of I. Okay, whatever I has. Then in the else clause, we can use print, let's say, loop completed successfully. Okay, like this. Which means here, first we have this number, this will iterate over 1 to 10. Then here we are checking for the condition. If any number which is even, then skip that value. For example, this will go to skip value 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 here. So this will going to skip these values, which means in the output we have 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. And then after skipping the value, we are printing the value of I, which is like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And then after completing this line of this code of block, print this else statement, which is your loop has been completed successfully. And then we can run this program. Okay, now you can see we have this all odd numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and loop completed successfully because here we are skipping the even numbers. Okay. Now, same as we can modify this question. Let's say, let me copy. Now here, let's say print number from 1 to 10. If number is even, then we can say break the loop. Wait the for loop. Okay, using a for loop and else clause. So what we can do here, we can just simply change from continue to break. That's it. Okay, and we can run this code. So instead of skipping value, we are breaking your loop. So here we have this 1 year. Because why one? Because after this one, like for example, here we are iterating over 1 to 10 here. So 1 is not a even number, so 1 will be printed. Then it will check for second. Okay, which is your second iteration, means your second number. Now second number is your even number, so this will entirely break your loop. Okay, so this is how we can simply use break statement and continue statement. Okay, and make sure whenever you are using your break, the else will not execute it. Your else clause will not execute it after your break statement. Because your iteration, your entire code has been executed. Sorry, break. So that is like the benefit of using break over continue. Your entire, like your rest of your code will like break after after any if any condition is true or false. Okay, but in the continue, we simply skip the values. That is why here we are having this else statement. But in the break, we are saying that just stop executing the entire, like whatever the remaining code here. Okay. So here we have this for loop and while loop questions. Okay. Any other question? Any doubts? Anyone wants to ask? Okay.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, what if we don't want to break the whole code, we just want to break the for loop, let's say?
Okay, if you want to break the for loop and not the entire code, then you can use continue in that case. Because that is like the basic nature of break statement. It will like break your entire code. So in that case, you can use, or you can use a function in place of for loop. This is like we are doing everything manually, so manually here. So that is why you can see we have very limited number of operation and we have many very limited number of actions here. But whenever we use classes or objects or functions, we have access to many other features. Like we can use break statement or continue in multiple more ways. Okay, so we are simply using break and continue inside for loop or if statement. So that is why it seems like very limited. But when we use inside like any function or classes and object, then we can, or you can just simply create another function. Okay, that we will see tomorrow. Yes.
Yes, but the continuous statement will just, you know,
Yeah, skip.
ignore the value of yes, skip. But if we want to break this for loop and run the rest of the code,
Yeah,
what's the
then you
way
can use
forward then?
function in that case.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay, so in that case, you can use function that we will discuss tomorrow. So functions are very helpful. It will help you to rewrite your code. Okay, and that will like avoid repetition in your Python script or your Python source code. So functions are like a block of code which only runs whenever they are called, and you can like keep on using functions without writing the entire code. Okay, so this will like avoid repetition in your source code. Okay, that we will discuss tomorrow. Any other questions? I will share this file and other notes in the group by today or tomorrow. Okay, so that you can practice on this file. Okay, so rest we will continue tomorrow. Thank you so much, guys, for attending the session. Okay, tomorrow we have session at the same time at 8 a.m. Sorry, at 8 p.m. IST. Okay. Thank you.